You know, age comes for us all, but that doesn't mean that we need to stay in power when we're old. So earlier this week, Mitch McConnell fell at a Republican lunch, and he's 82 years old. And when old people fall, it can be pretty bad. And here's a picture of his injuries, like after he recovered. Like you can see, he has his hand brace for like his wrist, and then he has a patch on his eye. It looks like he took some damage from that, and I mean that's not good to see. And but it does make you wonder, why is he still in office? And he's also had issues with freezing up in the past. And also this week, Nancy Pelosi had a fall. This just happened today. There's still like info coming out about it, but she's 84 years old, and she fell on the marble staircase at a palace in Luxembourg. And some reports are saying that she fractured her hip. Most sites aren't saying the hip fracture part, just the fall. But if she did fracture her hip, that's a really big deal for old people. A lot of old people will die by falling, fracturing their hip, and then a few weeks later, they end up dying from it. And old people are quite frail. You know, as you age, you lose bone density, you lose muscle, which means you lose strength, you get frail, and a single fall can take you out. This is part of the benefit of lifting weights. Like I'm a big advocate of, like, you know, exercise in general, but specifically lifting weights or like doing resistance training strengthens your muscles and increases bone density, so you're less likely to fall. And then if you fall, you're less likely to be hurt so badly. And I mean, it's kind of sad to see this happening, but it kind of does bring into question, why are there so many old people in office? And as another thing that's happening right now, so AOC is, who's 35 years old, by the way, is trying to become the top Democrat on the House Oversight Committee. And the House Oversight Committee is sort of the main investigative committee in the House of Representatives. They can subpoena people and have them testify and conduct investigations and things like that. And AOC is trying to be the top Democrat there. And Nancy Pelosi doesn't like that. She's trying to influence people to get Jerry Connolly, 74 years old, to be the top Democrat on the House Oversight Committee instead of AOC. And so I think all of these things happening in the same week is really just representative of the fact that these old politicians continue to cling on to power and prevent the younger generation from leading the country. And it's also kind of an issue for the country, as for national security, or just for getting things done, because if our politicians are so old that a fall is either killing them or is causing severe injuries, then that's not, these people run the country. Like, we can't have them getting injured so easily. What happens if there's like a serious issue and a politician is hurt and then they can't respond properly? You know, to some extent, you do have to have a healthy body in order to do this job. And if you're old, your body can become kind of compromised. And now we're going to have Trump, who's going to be the well, I know he was the oldest presidential nominee in history, and I believe once his term ends, he'll be older than Biden is. And I think these people just need to hand power down to the next generation, pass the torch, you know. And both of these people, Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell, are old. They only have so much time left on this planet, and they have plenty of money. So why don't they just retire and enjoy the time that they have left? You know, you served your countries, now just retire and enjoy yourself. You know, let someone else take the job instead. And I do think this is also an issue that we can all agree on, because we're very divided as a country right now. But I think this is one of those bipartisan issues that we can all kind of agree on. I think conservatives don't like having lots of old people, and liberals and leftists don't like having lots of old people representing them. And this is a partisan political channel. I am on the left. I don't try to hide that, but I am glad that a lot of people can agree on this. And so I do think politicians should retire once they do become old enough. The problem is that there's no good cutoff for when someone is too old, because what it really comes down to is, do you have the physical and mental capacity to do the job? And someone like Bernie Sanders, actually I don't know his age. Okay, so he's 83. So Mitch McConnell 82, Nancy Pelosi 84. Sanders 83. So he's, roughly in the same age as these other two, but, he doesn't freeze up. He hasn't fallen down. It seems like his body and his mind are holding up pretty well. And if that's the case, I don't really have an issue with him continuing to serve. I do think if he does start to deteriorate, he should retire. But, yeah, I don't necessarily think there should be a law saying once you reach this age, you have to retire. I just think people need to take some accountability. If you can't do the job anymore, retire and pass power to the younger people. Plus, I think there is a big benefit because these people are significantly older than the average person in the country. And if you're a young person and you're seeing all these old people running the country and representing you, that's not very motivating because you feel like these older people are out of touch and disconnected with you. But seeing younger people in office is kind of refreshing. It does feel a bit more representative of yourself. And so Nancy Pelosi fell at the Grand Ducal Palace in Luxembourg, and this is what it looks like. That's the outside, some inside shots. And I believe this is the marble staircase that she fell down. Although considering it's a palace, maybe there's multiple marble staircases, but this might have been it. I do gotta say, this is kind of pretty. We don't have anything like this in the US. Then again, we also don't have a monarchy. But yeah, that's it. Kind of a video talking about age as it relates to politics. Fundamentally, I'd like to see these older politicians hand power down to younger generations once they're not capable of doing the job, which I think Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi kind of fit that profile. They need to hand over power. But just because you're old, if you can do it like Bernie, I don't necessarily have an issue with it. So, see ya.